Welcome back, everyone. Today marks 2 months that I've been a part of the Peterson Academy and taking courses. So today I want to share with you guys my experiences with the Academy, what I've learned so far. Do I think it's worth your time and money? I'll give you guys a couple of updates on final exams and accreditation. And then at the very end of the video, I'm going to do a rankings of the courses that I've taken so far. So I'm not going to rank every single course on the Academy. That would be unfair. I haven't taken all the courses yet, but I will be ranking the 12 courses that I've taken so far in the first 2 months. So I'll talk a little bit more about the professors and the quality of the lectures at that point. But right now, I just want to get into kind of my experiences with the Academy and what I've felt taking these courses so far. So the biggest thing for me is I've felt a vigor and a passion to learn in these past couple months with an intensity that I've never felt before in my life. I've always been somebody who's sucking in knowledge and constantly consuming new things. But in the last 2 months, that has just been dialed up to an 11. So I feel like that's a sign that the Academy is working. Now, I'll talk about the lectures themselves in a second, but I feel like that alone kind of shows that the Academy does good things, and that, at least for me, it's motivating me to learn more. And that's what university is about. It's about fostering that spirit and that energy to just go out there and consume as much as you can and to learn as much as you can, so that hopefully one day you can build a career out of that, right? So I've learned a lot these last 2 months. I've been just consuming knowledge on a crazy base. I've been reading more books each week than I ever have in my life. I've been watching more lectures and more courses than I ever have in my life. 12 courses in 2 months is quite a bit, plus some of the other lectures that I still watch on YouTube that are free. So it's just felt amazing, and I feel sharper with my words now, and just everything's starting to click a little bit better, and my mind seems to be working a little bit better. So I feel amazing, and I think that speaks to the quality of the Academy. Now, to talk a little bit about the lectures, I myself am not going to say that the content of the lectures is amazing and it's just the best university lectures you've ever taken in your life. I don't want to say that because that's pretty subjective. There are courses that I've taken that I've learned a lot from, and there's other courses that I've taken that I've learned almost nothing from. And that's not because they're bad courses, but because they're subjects that I've studied quite extensively, and they're more introduction courses. So I've been, a little bit hit or miss with the actual quality of the content of the courses, but the quality of the courses themselves, the presentation, has been fantastic. All of the professors, I'll get into them in a second, but all of the professors have been very honest, very truthful, and they've all had a very positive approach to each of the lectures. The presentation of the lectures is really what's pushing me forward. Just the beauty of them, and how well they're edited. All every single image is crisp. They're all HD 4K images. That really helps. Sometimes when you're watching free lectures on YouTube and the camera's like 720p or 480p, it doesn't make you want to binge them as much. When you have that crystal clear video quality, it helps. And then you get the white background, and that might seem arbitrary, but the white background adds a level of professionalism that makes me want to watch more of the lectures. And then you add on, obviously, the beauty of the lectures with the explosions of colors and images that come up behind the professors to just really grip you. And each course has its own aesthetic. Like, that also helps. So all of that stuff really helps me to just keep watching these lectures. The switching of camera angles, too. Like, small things like that just keep me watching these lectures. And I've been binging a lot of them. There's courses that I've taken in 2 days. There's courses that I've taken in a single day. I've just, from the start of the day to the end of the day, just taken the entire course, 6 lectures in a row, because I've just found them that incredibly binge-worthy. And like I said, that's mainly speaking to the quality of the lectures themselves, not so much the quality of the content, if that makes any sense. Now, the quality of the content, like I said, is going to be completely subjective. There are some courses that I didn't really vibe with so far. I'm like, they were great. Like, I like the dynamic between the professor and the students and stuff, but I didn't learn a ton because most of this stuff I've already learned. So I found it a little bit redundant, but besides that, I don't really have any complaints about the quality of the content of the courses. I don't find that they're biased in any way. Obviously, if you're taking a course on Christianity, it's going to be slightly biased towards Christianity, but you would want that and you would expect that from a course on Christianity. Now, I wouldn't call it like propaganda or something, some of those crazy words. I think they're just excellent courses on what they're trying to present. I haven't found any biases in any of the courses yet. Now, I haven't taken any of Stephen Hicks's courses. Like, there's courses that I haven't gotten around to yet, so I can't say that for certain. But from the Nietzsche course all the way to the Christianity courses, the John Vervaeke course, I haven't found any political lean or bent, at least not one that's as strong as the traditional university that I went to and dropped out of. That one was incredibly tilted towards the left to the point where it was absolutely hindering my ability to learn. Whereas the Peterson Academy seems like it's more facilitating my ability to learn, because I love the fact that these professors are teaching the courses that they want to teach, how they want to teach them. The Academy doesn't go, oh, you need to teach this, you need to add Christianity in here, or add some conservative element here. There's professors that I've taken courses from on this Academy that I can tell are quite liberal, but they don't put that across. They don't push that onto anybody. It's all about just learning about the basics of these subjects. So it's been a fantastic experience for me, top to bottom. I really don't have anything to complain about. I've already made videos on 5 problems that I have with the Academy and 10 features that I would like to see added to the Academy, so I won't go into full details of that right now. You guys can go watch those videos. I've also made a tour on the Academy, so I won't be taking you guys around it right now, but I do want to talk a little bit about the media side, because that's a big feature of the Academy, and I think that might be worth the $500 alone. The fact that you have access to a social media platform that's paid for like that, it may seem dumb to pay for a social media platform when they're all free right now, but the fact that you have to buy your way through, there's a barrier to entry there. I think that makes for a platform that's just so much better. It's so much more positive, besides a little bit of like brain flexing here and there. And you would expect that from a university social media platform. People are kind of flexing their intelligence a little bit. But besides that, everybody's been very positive, very honest, very truthful. The comments are very well worded. I'm very impressed by a lot of the students on the Academy, how much time they take to write comments, and it's fantastic. I found the social media side of it to be almost worth the money it's in and of itself, as I was saying before. So the media aspect's great. The quality of the courses, just how beautiful they are, really pulls me in. Those 2 aspects alone, I think, is worth the $500. I think that pushes it over some of the other free universities you guys have been mentioning in the comments, that like Hillsdale is free, or Corsa, or some of these other kind of free institutions. I've taken some of those courses now that you guys have been mentioning so much. I've gone out and I've taken a Hillsdale course, and I really don't think that they can compete with the Peterson Academy, in my opinion. There's aspects of the Hillsdale courses that I think are fantastic, the way that they blend in kind of documentary footage, and they have these interviews that are really nicely set up. Like there's aspects to those courses that I think are fantastic, and the fact that they're free is just tremendous. But there's something about the Peterson Academy. It has a level of polish to it that I've never seen from any other academy. Even the website itself is just super clean, super sharp, easy to navigate, and you just want to spend time on the website. So stuff like that, the ease of use stuff, really makes it worth the time and money in my experience. So I'm going to go over accreditation and final exams really quick. We don't have too much in terms of updates for that. So for accreditation, Dr. Peterson has mentioned in multiple interviews recently, I think 2 or 3 podcasts now, he's mentioned that he has multiple institutions interested in accreditation. So that means that there's more than one person out there that wants to accredit this university. So I think it's going to happen. And just thinking about it, like there's going to be institutions out there that are more conservative or more Christian leaning, or more Judo-Christian leaning, that are going to accredit this academy. Like I don't think it's like out of the realm of possibility for the Peterson Academy to get accredited. I think in some ways they're going to have to elevate their standard, but they're not going to have to change their courses at all, and they won't, because Dr. Peterson said that he will never change the quality of the courses. If any institution's like, well, you have to tweak this, or you can't teach about that, or you have to add this thing in, he won't go for accreditation. He'll just go directly to employers, and he'll get all of his students hired in a direct way like that, going straight to employers and trying to present a case, I guess, on why these degrees are useful. So I've always kind of trusted in him to do that, but I'm looking at the accreditation side, and it's looking like that's probably going to happen sometime in the future. What I mean by he might have to raise the standards of the academy is not so much that he has to change the content of the courses, but there are features that need to be added before I think you can actually get accreditation. So final exams would be one of them. We still don't have final exams, and I've taken 12 courses at this point, and I haven't taken any final exams, so that's a little concerning. Now, I know I'm going through the academy rather quickly, but like I'm going to start losing stuff in my head. I need these final exams to come out. I need written portions. I need something to be graded and somebody to come back to me and say, okay, this is what you wrote about your understanding about the Shakespeare course, for example, and this is what I think about your understanding of the course. Like, I need that kind of feedback. If I don't get that, then I at least need more interactions with students, and there's been great interactions on the media platform, but they need to facilitate that a little bit more. Maybe some voice call rooms or something like that. They need some sort of personal connection so that I know that I'm learning what I think I'm learning, if that makes any sense. But the final exams need to be there, written portions, and I think some sort of contact with professors is absolutely needed. Now, there's probably colleges out there that do have some sort of accreditation that are completely online where you don't connect with the professors. I'm not aware of any. I'm just assuming that maybe there are some like that. But for me, if I'm paying for a university, I do want some interaction with the professor. Now, even if it's just the professor answering 3 questions a week of just random questions from students, even that would be enough for me, because I know these professors, not all of them are strictly professors either. Some of them are writers or comedians or playwrights or all sorts of different things, right? So they have very busy lives outside of the academy. So I understand why they can't, do like voice answer or video answers to every single question every single week. But if they can just give like written responses to maybe 3 questions a week, I think that would be incredibly helpful. So some sort of contact with the professors I think is needed. And I think just some of those little things, if they just up the standards or up the quality of the academy a little bit, I think they'll have no problem getting accreditation. So I'm really not worried about that. I'm also somebody who's here to learn first and foremost. That's my primary goal, is to learn new things. I don't really need a degree. I would like one kind of as a fallback plan. But this academy and making videos on this academy has kind of shown me that I might have something here with the YouTube thing. I might be able to grow this into something that can be like a full-time job for me. So that's kind of what I'm shooting for now. I've gotten this channel monetized thanks to you guys. Thank you guys so much. But I've gotten this channel monetized now, and I just want to keep going in that direction. So for me, getting a degree really isn't the biggest thing. I know for other people, they're going to a university, they want to get something out of it, they want to get a degree out of it. And I know I can't promise to that to you guys yet, and the academy can't promise that to you guys yet, but I think it's coming. I truly believe it's coming, but you guys can only just take me for my word, right? So that's kind of all the updates that I have for right now. Sorry, I don't have more. I have messaged the academy. I messaged them a huge email where I was listing features that I think that they should add and problems that I've noticed. And I've given a lot of your guys' feedback, and I've passed it on to them. I haven't gotten an email back. I know that they're incredibly busy right now. They're getting a ton of emails every day. And my email was pretty long, so they might need some time to answer to it. Once they eventually answer me and the Peterson Academy gets back to me on some of these questions that I've had and you guys have had, I will make a video kind of updating you guys. But as of right now, that's kind of all I have to say for updates. So now I kind of want to go over my rankings for the courses, and we'll talk a little bit more about what each professor is like and what are the qualities of each of the courses, which ones did I like the most, which ones do I feel like I didn't really learn anything from. So yeah, let's go into the rankings of the courses. So last on my list, I guess, at number 12, the course that I have viewed as the weakest on the academy so far, at least for myself. Again, this is completely subjective. Some of you might take these courses and you might really, really like the courses that I have at the bottom. I'm just ranking these mostly off of how much did I learn from them. So some of these courses, I already knew a ton about the fields. So even though the courses were great, I'm putting them a bit lower on my list just because I didn't really learn a ton. So the one that's last on my list is the Art of Storytelling. It was 6 lectures long, Greg Hurwitz and Dr. Andy Martin. I'm somebody who has read Greg Hurwitz, I should say. I've read his works before. I've read his run with Batman, his run with Punisher, and I'm not the biggest fan myself. Some people might really, really like Greg Hurwitz's run with Batman, but me, myself, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I like the more new stuff that's coming out with the Batman Who Laughs and stuff like that. That's kind of more my vibe. The original run of the New 52, when they were kind of rebooting DC, I thought it was all crap, like up until this new wave of the Batman Who Laughs and stuff like that. So I'm not the biggest fan of his writing, first and foremost, and then I also didn't learn a ton from this course. It's about storytelling. This is something that I've researched a ton. I've read Stephen King's book on writing. I've read a ton of books on writing. And I had a great grade 12 teacher. I mentioned this in my review for this course, but I had a great grade 12 teacher who kind of taught me most of this stuff already. So I viewed this course more as kind of an intermediate course between high school and university. I didn't really see this as like a full university course. This was definitely the weakest course that I've taken so far, but I don't want to like dump on Andy Martin or Greg Hurwitz. They delivered a fantastic course. They go through Greg Hurwitz's works himself, so you're actually listening to a writer go through his own works, which is a great way to sell books. It's a little bit self-centered. I don't know if self-centered is the right word, but I would have liked them to go over the greatest works of fiction like Ulysses, War and Peace. You know, I would have liked to see those books broken down rather than only just Greg Hurwitz's works broken down. So for me, it was more miss than hit, in my opinion. But again, you might take this course and you might love it, especially if you're an aspiring novelist or thriller writer. The next course that I have at number 11, this is going to be a shocker to some people, but I actually have Intro to Nietzsche. Now, the reason why I have Jordan Peterson's course low on my list is because I've consumed every stitch of content from this man on the internet, so I already know what he thinks of Nietzsche prior to this course. Now, there were some new things in this course that I learned about Nietzsche that he hasn't mentioned before. A couple things, but for the most part, I kind of already knew what Jordan Peterson thought of Nietzsche and how he interprets him. Now, a lot of people might comment and say, well, Jordan Peterson doesn't understand Nietzsche at all, and he bastardized him and all this stuff, and I don't agree with that. I find the critiques of Jordan Peterson's analysis to be just completely baseless, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. But when I engage with Jordan Peterson talking about Nietzsche, I draw a lot from it. Now, I don't take everything. Obviously, there's things that he says about Nietzsche's philosophy that I'm like, I don't quite agree with that. I kind of interpret it in a different way, and that's okay. Everybody's supposed to interpret Nietzsche kind of in their own way. I don't think that there's a completely right or wrong way to do it. I think he's an incredibly difficult thinker, and to say that anybody understands him is a huge overstatement. I don't think anybody reads Nietzsche and fully understands the man. I think it's something that you just constantly engage with throughout your life, and you kind of just chip away at the block, and you might take certain things from him, you might leave other things, but Nietzsche's an incredibly, incredibly complicated thinker, and just to take him on is respectable in and of itself. So I loved the course for Nietzsche, but like I said, most of the stuff I kind of knew already. I'm somebody who's read Nietzsche multiple times. I've watched countless Nietzsche lectures. I've done a whole reading guide to Nietzsche where I list out some of those lectures that I really like. Some of those lectures, some of the professors actually criticized Jordan Peterson, so there's some contrast of interest there, but I found all of them useful. So I draw from everybody, and I just try to build my own interpretation of his works. My favorite is Thus Spoke Zarathustra, and I don't think a single person, living or dead, understands Thus Spoke Zarathustra. So I'll leave it at that, but I have Intro to Nietzsche at kind of number 11 in my rankings. At number 10, I have Intro to Psychology. Again, I'm putting this above Intro to Nietzsche because this was not my first time listening to Dr. Keith Campbell. I've seen his podcast interviews with Jordan, but this was my first time taking a course from him, and I found him to be very funny. Like, he was very entertaining to listen to. He was constantly cracking jokes and stuff, and I found this course to just be very fun to take. But Intro to Psychology, I've taken like 10 Intro to Psychology courses throughout my life. There's a ton that are on YouTube for free. When I did my review for the Intro to Psychology course, I actually put a bunch of Intro to Psychology courses on screen that are free on YouTube that I enjoy, from Stanford, Yale, MIT. So if you guys go check out that video, you guys can see somewhat of a short list of some of the Intro to Psychology courses that I also enjoy. This was one of the best ones that I've ever taken, not purely for the content of the quality of the content, but because of the quality of the lectures. Again, the Dr. Keith Campbell just being so funny and entertaining, and then also the beauty of the lectures themselves really captivated me. But like I said, didn't learn a ton from this. A lot of it was pretty basic psychology stuff that I've already learned. And then with the next one on my list, I think this is number 9 now, I have Intro to Nutrition. Again, Max Lugavari delivers a fantastic course. It's a comprehensive introduction to nutrition. It's very unbiased, it's concise, it's well-informed. There's no holes that I can poke in this one. Out of all the courses that I'll talk about today, this is probably one of the most flawless ones on the Academy. The reason why it's low on my list, again, I've taken multiple nutrition courses throughout my life. I've trained to become a professional trainer. My uncle teaches a nutrition course at Nate. So I'm somebody who always grew up around this information. So it wasn't really new to me, and therefore I have it a little bit lower on my list just because I didn't learn a ton. Then we have God, the Bible, and humanity. Now, again, he's not a doctor, Bishop Robert Barron is somebody who I've known about for a long time. I went to a Catholic high school. In my religion class, most of our religious classes were just watching Bishop Barron videos, so this is somebody who I'm very familiar with. The reason why I put this course a little bit higher, though, is because I thought it was the best version of Bishop Barron I've come across. This was the most concise, most concentrated form of Bishop Barron, and it was fantastic. I think it's some of the best work that he's ever done. So I learned a lot from this course. Obviously, I'm somebody who grew up Catholic, became a staunch atheist, and then I'm kind of drawing back to Christianity now. So I'm somebody who resonates with this course a lot. I would consider myself probably a Catholic, so this course resonates with me. Then we have the boy crisis. I wish I could put this course a bit higher, but it doesn't go over enough. If it went over more things and it was a bit longer, I'd put it higher on my list, but I think it was like a 5-6 hour course, 6 lectures, and it's pretty concentrated. But I said it in my review of the boy crisis that this is the one course that I would like to see free to everybody. If they make one course free to the world to kind of give them a tester of the academy, it should be the boy crisis, because this course is it was sad. I was almost tearing up at points in it because it connects to me. This is a lot of stuff that I've went through as a child, and I've watched my fellow boy friends go through. So this course was just incredibly moving to me. It touches on a lot of, like I said, stuff that's going on in today's world that I think everybody needs to be aware of, and we need to start addressing the boy crisis. So the boy crisis was fantastic. One of my favorite courses that I've taken on the academy so far. There's a couple courses that I liked a little bit better than it, though. One of them being intelligence, rationality, and wisdom and spirituality. Sorry, there's 4 words there. Long title, but John Vervaeke's course is what I have after the boy crisis. I think this course was probably the most difficult course that I've taken on the academy. It was the most high level. It was the one that I had to take the most notes for. I really had to dial in and focus. John Vervaeke is a difficult thinker if you've never come across him before. But once you kind of get into what he's about, he's fantastic, man. He's enlightened me to so many new things, so many different ways of thinking about Plato and Platonism and the words that are in the title of his course, intelligence, rationality, wisdom, and spirituality. He helped define those terms for me better throughout this course, and he's probably one of the smartest professors on the academy. Like, he's fantastic. I already did a review for this course, obviously, but I could talk about John Vervaeke forever. I think he's truly fantastic, and I learned a lot from his course, and it was the most difficult course that I've taken so far in the academy. So thank you, John Vervaeke, for respecting my intelligence and bringing me a difficult course. Next up, we have the greatest leaders of history with Andrew Roberts. The reason why I put this one above is because I've been a fanboy of Andrew Roberts for a long time. I remember coming across his Napoleon book when I was, sometime when I was a teenager, and I was obsessed with Napoleon for like a whole year. I just read everything that I could on Napoleon. Someday I'll show you guys my books on the Napoleonic Wars and the life of Napoleon. He's a figure that I'm quite drawn to, especially being French. So for me to take a course by Andrew Roberts to learn about, Winston Churchill and Margaret Thatcher and Napoleon and all these amazing figures, it was fantastic. I found this course so engaging. The only aspect about it that I didn't like was it was an interviewee style, so you had a guy interviewing Andrew Roberts the whole time. I would have liked Andrew Roberts to just come out and start talking. I know he's not a traditional professor, so maybe he didn't feel comfortable doing that, but man, I hope he comes back for more courses, because Andrew Roberts truly is one of my favorite historians of all time. Then I have Symbolism and Christianity by Jonathan Pageau. Now, you might think that this would rank lower on my list because I am very familiar with Jonathan Pageau's works. I've watched a lot of his videos. I've seen every single interview he's done with Jordan Peterson. I thought he was fantastic in the Exodus series that they did on the Daily Wire. I think Jordan Peterson was kind of heading that group. He was kind of the one blazing forward. But when he needed help, he would go often to Jonathan Pageau, because Jonathan Pageau is so damn brilliant. And the way he illuminates the symbolism of Christianity is I have never seen anybody do it better, and that's why I have him above Bishop Barron on my list, because Jonathan Pageau is one of my favorite thinkers that I've ever come across in my life. And the way he presents his ideas in such a gentle and compassionate way, I really appreciate. I like that soft approach that he has. So I love Jonathan Pageau, and I have that course that I don't know where we're at now on the list. I didn't number I didn't number any of these. I apologize, but we have 3 more to talk about. So a couple of courses that I liked a little bit better. One of them would be the history of Western music. So I learned a lot from this course. In fact, if there's one course that I learned the most from, it's the history of Western music. I'm not a traditionally trained musician. I haven't learned to play piano or violin or any of those fantastic instruments, unfortunately. I have a little bit of skill on the drums, and I've made electronic music, but past that, that's really all of my endeavors in music. I can somewhat sing, not really. It's really horrible. I sound like a dying goat, but I can't really speak to music too much because I'm not classically trained in any way, but I'm somebody who's been deeply passionate about music my whole life. I listen to thousands of genres of music. I have a huge vinyl collection I'll show you guys one day. Music's something that's always been a huge part of my life, but I've never really understood the science of music, or the underlying themes of it, or the underlying history of it. So all of that was illuminated to me in a brilliant way by Andreev, I believe is the professor's name. He was fantastic. And the way he would play pieces on the piano and pick them apart, he'd play the left-hand side, and then he'd play the right-hand side, and then he'd put them both together, and then you can kind of distinguish which hand's playing what piece of the melody. And man, it blew my mind. I learned so much about music in this course. Really a fantastic course. There's only 2 courses that I liked more than it, one of which was Plato. I thought James Orr, like I said in my review for this course, I think he has the best oratory skills out of anybody I've come across on the platform. The way he speaks is just perfect. It's just perfect. And the way he went over Plato was just brilliant. I would love to see John Vervaeke go over Plato as well, because he's obviously a Platonist, a Neoplatonist, I should say, and he's kind of obsessive about Plato. So I'd love to see him teach a course on Plato as well. But I thought James Orr's version, or his course on Plato, was just fantastic. I learned a lot, and Plato's one of those thinkers. He's one of my favorite philosophers of all time. I'll eventually do a full reading guide to Plato, much like I did for Nietzsche. And yeah, the Plato course was terrific. James Orr, hats off to you, man. One of the greatest professors I've come across. Now, there's only one course that I think's better. The best course that I've taken on the Peterson Academy so far, in my opinion, is the Shakespearean tragedies. Now, there was just something about the way it was delivered. It was fantastic. I learned, I shouldn't say I learned a ton. I did learn a lot about the history of Shakespeare. That's something that I wasn't really shown in my English classes. You know, you go to high school and all your English teachers are just jerking off Shakespeare the whole 3 or 4 years. It's just all they do. And you kind of hate Shakespeare by the end of those 4 years. Once you get to the end of high school, you're like, man, I'm sick of English teachers talking about Shakespeare. Like, I just want to engage with him on my own. And then you kind of go into college, and then you re-engage with Shakespeare, and you kind of learn that he's so damn brilliant. But the way I'm trying to find Andrew Doyle. Andrew Doyle's the professor who taught this course. The way he goes through the Shakespearean tragedies and breaks them down is just fantastic. I think this is the best course I've ever seen on Shakespeare, and I highly, highly recommend it for anybody who's interested in Shakespeare. He goes over the history, he goes over the skill of Shakespeare and just how great of a playwright he was. He kind of goes over some of the words he invented, and then he goes over the main tragedies in detail and kind of breaks down their subplots and the themes behind them. So I found the Shakespeare course to be fantastic, and I also really loved the visuals. That's what kind of puts it at number 1 for me. The intro to the course and all the visuals throughout just really captivated me, and I found the Shakespeare course to me to be the best. But I'm saying it now, and I'll probably say this for all the courses that I take. Like, they're all fantastic, really. Like, they're all amazing introduction courses. I recommend them to anybody, even the ones that were low on my list, like the Art of Storytelling. I think that might be somebody's favorite course out there. It just wasn't for me. But all of these courses were beautifully edited. Like I said before, they just present themselves in such a gorgeous way. And all the professors have been terrific. Like, I really haven't had a professor where I'm like, I don't really think you're doing your job great here. Or I think you're kind of slacking off, or you're not being very honest. Like I never had a professor like that so far, and I hope I don't. I hope it still stays like this as I continue to take courses. But my experience with the Academy has been fantastic. I don't know what else I could possibly say about it right now. I'll probably do a 3-month update, and I'll do a year update, and I'll keep tracking my progression throughout the Academy for those who are interested. For those of you who are kind of just watching these videos of mine to kind of get a sense of the Academy, but you're not fully committed yet, you don't know if it's worth it. Or maybe you're watching this video because you're a part of the Academy and you just want to hear somebody else talk about it. That's cool too. Or maybe you're one of the few people who absolutely hate Jordan Peterson. You think this whole Academy is a grift and you just want to hear somebody talk about it just to write in the comments, this is a grift and you're getting scammed. I'm here for you people too. I hope to convert some of you people over, and I hope you guys actually eventually, I hope some of the courses are free so you guys don't have to pay, but I hope eventually some of you guys actually pay the tuition, take some of these courses, and realize that this Academy is a brilliant thing. It's amazing. What they're doing, I think, is truly revolutionizing education. It's bringing it back to its truest form. It's bringing back truth and honesty and integrity to education, in my opinion. So I found the Academy to be fantastic. So I've loved my experience so far. I hope I convinced somebody to go join. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends. It helps boost this channel and the algorithm. The last time I did a video like this, my 1 month of Peterson Academy, you guys blew that video up to almost 50,000 views, and it got me to 1,000 subscribers. So thank you guys so much. That means the world to me. It truly does. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.